scary story. The Mirror, Donovan Kane Maniac Serial Killer. In the glittering sprawl of Las Vegas, Nevada, where neon lights never dimmed and fortunes were won and lost before dawn, a killer moved among the crowds like a ghost in plain sight. His name was Donovan Kane, 39, former stage magician who once headlined at smaller casinos before a bad accident with a vanishing cabinet left him with third-degree burns across his left cheek and a permanent limp. After the injury, he faded from the spotlight, taking a job as a night shift security guard at the sprawling Mirage Resort Casino. Or so everyone thought. They called him the Mirror because of what he did to his victims. It began in the summer of 2024. First victim, 28-year-old cocktail waitress named Isabella Ruiz. She finished her shift at 2 a.m., changed in the employee locker room and headed to the parking garage. Security cameras caught her entering the elevator alone. The footage then showed the doors closing, and nothing else. No one ever saw her leave. Her body was discovered 48 hours later inside one of the hotel's out-of-service mirrored elevators, the kind with floor-to-ceiling reflective panels on 3 walls. Isabella had been positioned standing upright, arms at her sides, facing the doors. Every inch of exposed skin had been meticulously carved to resemble shattered glass, thousands of tiny precise cuts forming spiderweb fracture patterns. Her eyes had been removed and replaced with small round mirrors glued into the sockets. When the doors opened, the first responding officer saw dozens of reflected versions of her mutilated face staring back at him from every angle. The media dubbed it the Mirror Murder. Second victim appeared 3 weeks later. 31-year-old high roller guest named Jordan Hale, in town for a poker tournament. He was last seen leaving the High Limit Lounge at 4 a.m., slightly drunk, heading toward the private VIP elevators. His body was found the next afternoon, in a service corridor behind the main casino floor, inside a full-length dressing mirror that had been removed from a showroom and propped against the wall. Again, standing pose, body carved with fractal glass patterns, eyes replaced with mirrors. But this time the killer had gone further. He had positioned small handheld mirrors around the corpse at precise angles so that when investigators arrived, they saw infinite recursive reflections of the body stretching into eternity down mirrored corridors that didn't exist. Panic spread through the strip. Tourists started avoiding elevators. Hotels added extra security. Employees walked in pairs. Donovan Kane kept working his graveyard shift, monitoring cameras, checking doors, saying little. Co-workers described him as quiet but reliable. No one noticed how often he disappeared into maintenance corridors. Third victim, 25-year-old showgirl named Sophia Chen. She performed in one of the big review spectacles. After the late show, she went to her dressing room to remove makeup. Never made it home. Her body was discovered on stage the next morning, before the theater opened, standing center stage in her costume, spotlit by a single follow spot. The entire massive stage mirror used for illusions had been turned to face her. Same carvings, same mirrored eyes, but the killer had rigged small servo motors behind the mirror so that as investigators approached, the reflection of Sophia slowly turned its head to watch them. That was when the FBI's Behavioral Analysis Unit sent Special Agent Elena Navarro. Navarro had profiled ritualistic killers before, but this one unnerved her. The mirrors weren't just trophies, they were the point. The killer wanted victims to see themselves fragmented, multiplied, eternal in reflection. He wanted witnesses to see infinite versions of death. She reviewed every piece of footage from the properties where bodies appeared, noticed something subtle in several frames. Just before victims entered elevators or corridors alone, a brief reflection anomaly appeared. A flicker where a face seemed to appear behind them that didn't match any known employee. The face was half burned. Navarro pulled personnel files, found Donovan Kane's accident report from 6 years earlier. The vanishing cabinet malfunctioned during a rehearsal. A rigged mirror panel collapsed, shattering across his face and pinning his leg. He had sued the casino chain, lost, and quietly returned to work for them years later. She requested a search warrant. They hit his off-strip apartment at dawn. Inside, walls covered in mirrors of every size. Antique, modern, broken, whole. Some still bore faint traces of blood and adhesive, where eyes had been glued. A workbench held surgical tools, shards of safety glass, tiny servo motors, miniature round mirrors by the hundreds, and video footage. Dozens of recordings taken from hidden cameras inside hotel elevators, dressing rooms, service corridors. Each showed a victim entering alone, then Donovan stepping in from a blind spot, masked, gloved. He never spoke, he simply stared, his burned face reflecting in every surface, while he worked. The final room was the worst. A walk-in closet turned into a gallery. Life-sized photographs of each victim printed on reflective mylar sheets, hung so that walking between them created infinite mirrored corridors of mutilated faces. In the center stood a full-length mirror with a silhouette cutout, where a new victim would stand. A sticky note on the glass read, "Next reflection, Elena." Navarro felt ice in her veins. Donovan wasn't home. He had anticipated the raid. 2 nights later, he struck again, this time targeting Navarro herself. She was staying at a different hotel to avoid patterns. At 3 a.m., she entered her room's bathroom to brush her teeth. The large vanity mirror reflected the bedroom behind her. She saw movement. A shadow crossed the doorway. She spun, Glock already drawn. Donovan stood in the bedroom, half his face illuminated by hallway light, the burned side in shadow. In his hand, a shard of mirror taped to a handle like a crude knife. He didn't rush her. He simply tilted his head toward the mirror. "Look," he whispered. His voice was rough from smoke inhalation years ago. "See how many of you there are. Infinite. Eternal. But only one bleeds." Navarro raised her weapon. He stepped forward. She fired 3 times. Center mass. Donovan collapsed, blood spreading across the carpet. As he fell, he reached out and tapped the mirror once. The glass cracked in a perfect spiderweb pattern, right across Navarro's reflected face. He died smiling, one side ruined, the other almost serene. Investigators later found his final plan. Blueprints for rigging the entire Bellagio fountain show, mirrors to project holographic victims during the next performance. Thousands of tourists would have seen infinite dancing corpses in the water reflections. He never got the chance. Las Vegas moved on. The neon kept burning. Tourists kept coming. But some employees still avoid certain elevators after midnight. And in quiet moments when the casino noise fades, a few swear they catch their own reflection blinking. Just a fraction of a second, out of sync, as if something else is looking back. Check out my long videos with scary stories. Visit my channel and watch. Subscribe to my channel, like the video if you enjoyed it. Recommend it to your friends. Check out my videos, friends.